with him. Monk on the beat. Monk on the beat.
What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Take a second, hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us on all social media at My Cowboys Family, and of course, hop in the Discord. Link for that's in the description box down below.
Yeah, our live stream's been far and few between. Well, because the Cowboys ain't doing much, but it is also that 5 and 6 weeks of the season of the year that on the calendar that there is no real football going down. So we want to not hear a lot about our Cowboys, but we would love to see if the front office want to help a little Mike McCarthy out here, maybe add a couple pieces, whatever is left out there. I don't know. We'll bring it to you guys, a couple ideas and some thoughts, as well as some updates on our Cowboys over the last 3 days, as we check in with you guys on I guess it was going to be a Sunday finale, but it's a Monday now, continuation.
Yes.
So,
and speaking of continuation, you're going to continue to see these people representing here on the board. Thank you very much to the sponsor of the week and the Cash App King, McLovin.
The man, McLovin, rocking it mostly on the After Dark sessions. Appreciate you as he's on top of the board. And you know what? A couple nights, we were off here. We had a little After Dark here and there. He also dropped the love on that side of things and is in first place on the overall board and in the Cash App board as well. So he's coming for a repeat of events, it looks like. At least he's trying. McLovin is currently in first place, but others dropped the love in there. And there's people right behind him, like the man staying skeptical fan, Sco971, Mick, Dave B, Marissa, Dave Laura, Big D, I should say, who's also in the membership. Much love to him. Jet Lee 44 in the running. Multi Super Cockle. We have Just Observing. We have Dark Raven. William Burney back in the membership. And yes, I said Skeptical Fan. It's an extra special love to Skeptical Fan here because he dropped a little gifting membership to a lucky winner in the chat. They're one of our non-membership subscribers.
Yes, the shout out again, Skeptical Fan. Much love to Teresa Stickle for winning that gifted membership.
And Stickle in the hickle here gets a membership for a month, a trial version. Hey, as we get closer to the season, that's going to heat up as well when it comes to those perks in the membership side of things. Big shout out to Skeptical Fan. When you look at the champ of gifting memberships the last 2 months, 7 out of 8 weeks it's been Jet Lee 44, top of the board, and had the lead right now. He had a one gifted membership lead on this board period, but again, pre-stream, Skeptical Fan dropping that. Ties in first place with Jet Lee 44. So the battle continues between these two ballers of the gifting side of our channel, you can say, a way of showing the love here. And of course, doing it right at the last second, right before our big After Dark stream we had the other day, Godless Manitoban, all the way from Canada, repping that star.
Yeah, coming through, taking over as the stream boss.
Yeah.
Fully loaded with 99 points.
Yeah, did it in a big way. But hey, people jumping in here. We're growing the channel. We're almost at 38,000 subscribers. So, hey, let's see where this goes. Especially as we get to training camp, it's going to blow up. And, of course, into the regular season and beyond, hopefully, for that 6. And we're all hoping for here at My Cowboys Family.
Yes.
So,
and as much as we're all hoping that our Cowboys are also spending time with their friends and family, relaxing peacefully at home.
Yes,
right?
without COVID, like us, we've been of course missed about a week or so because we were family. Also, you can still even hear it in me a little bit. I got COVID. The wife here, yes, has COVID as well. But again, I will say you're more healthy than I am. Maybe, I don't know.
Yes.
But it's definitely hitting you a lot less than it has hit me. But either way, we're still rocking it here with the news, info, and updates. And also, I want to shout out throughout all different ways of dropping the love here, whether it's a super chat, whether it is the thanks button. Big shout out to Skeptical Fan on that as well.
All the levels of membership, which we, are going to shout out in just a moment.
Joining in them, like William Burney and Big D, jumping back in them, gifting them, as you just saw, Skeptical Fan. But there's 4 other ways you can affect the Cash App board, which Mr. McLovin is currently at top, but also the overall board through the Cash App crown. How those 4 ways they can do that, baby?
You have, of course, the Cash App money sign My Cowboys Family, the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family, the regular PayPal link, and last but not least, the Streamlabs link lets your comment show up on screen just like a super chat.
Appreciate everybody that does it in all those ways, and also appreciate the membership side of things. Navy Blue Crew, the Silver level 2, but of course, there's that top shelf star and over everything level membership switch for the month of June. We got another raffle coming around the corner here every month. We have these sewn and stitch jerseys given away to the star or over everything level members. One of those will win. Somebody will win one of these fantastic jerseys, new or old, Hall of Fame or a current player here. Different, styles, men, women's, children's sizes as well, all kinds of stuff. Anyways, but we also added in there the weekly winners also get a bonus entry. So if McLovin can hold things down, he will get a bonus entry in this upcoming raffle for the month of June. Just want to throw that in there as we get ready to rep and shout out those that are currently, guaranteed a raffle entry. And by the way, if you're in the Over Everything, you get 2 raffle entries. I think right now we don't have an Over Everything member, but we do have a bunch of star level members that want to show out. Baby, who are they?
Thank you very much. The Skeptical Fan, always staying skeptical. Jet Lee 44 representing.
Jason Renfro,
Dwayne Broussard, the top dog.
Yeah.
Lincoln Kane,
LC,
Marissa Sparkle, much love, and the man, the Lunatic.
The Godfather. Appreciate all you guys. Can't do this without the top shelf memberships, as well as all the memberships here, and all you guys who subscribe and watch within the replay here live. Drop the love, or drop the knowledge. Appreciate you all. Now let's drop the names of the people who's in here watching this kickoff show, I guess, for the week.
Who better to start things off with than the man himself, Skeptical Fan.
In the house.
Scorpio representing much love. Rolando Rodriguez all the way from South Texas. Frank Moyer, we got A-Town Frank in the house. Asmodeus all the way from Tennessee.
Yeah.
Choctaw Montana 808, you already know. What's up? We have, who else is here? Let me see. James Herr, hello and hi. Much love to you, Double R. We have Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Even you, Lee Side Herald, here to talk real football, I'm sure. Texas Twister representing, what's up? Dustin Roberts, hello and hi. Beer Run, hey, maybe it's time for a beer run. Let me see who else is here. I think I did see Freedom First. I think he was first in the house tonight. John Syme, what's up, hello and hi. Oh, who's that? MCF After Dark?
After Dark.
And I do have to take a second here as well to shout out the man, Mr. Lavelle.
Mr. Lavelle.
Came through and dropped a $20, formerly known as Tony Pollard Holler.
Yeah, no, that's a red wine.
I was going to say, I can't remember who was 20.
Sheldrick Red Wine Holler.
Oh, boy.
But hey, much love to Mr. A. Lavelle.
It sounds like training camp problems.
We'll be hearing his name some in training camp and preseason. Big shout out to A. Lavelle kicking it off here, right? Godless will go down to 79 points on the Stream Boss when this hits. But Mr. Lavelle, who, by the way, on the membership side, what is it, like 46 months of, since the first day. You know, I know we had different issues with the memberships thing, cutting people off, but he's the one guy, when it came back on, he was on board. He's been on the silver level for the longest than anybody in our entire membership history. So big shout out to Mr. Lavelle. What do you have to say, baby, with that? Formerly known as TP Oller.
What's up, MCF and MCW? What's good, everyone in the chat? And hope everyone is safe and healthy.
Same to you and yours, sir. And again, there it is. I know you're not done yet, but I wanted to shout him out as that drop went through.
Staying up late to cook for the fam. Always watching and always listening. The star over everything. So let's go, Cowboys, baby.
Hell yeah.
And get well soon, MCW and MCF.
Yes. Thank you. And
Thank you, Mr. Lavelle. Like we said, definitely, you know, starting to turn the corner fully. Like, I think today was the first day where we finally felt like close to normal. At least on my side, for sure. So, fingers crossed, you know, sooner rather than later, we are fully back to, you know,
full blast.
100%.
Yeah.
So
hopefully the Cowboys are as well. And hopefully we don't have to do too much news on them doing anything bad. Right now, it's all good as far as staying out of the negative news side.
On one hand, I feel like
Players.
I'm a little disappointed because usually we, you know, in other previous off seasons, we actually have had a little bit more to talk about even during this
down
off-season depth. Yeah. But like we've said since the beginning of this off-season, it is a particularly quiet one from within the stars. So they're obviously, one, handling things differently, and two, I think we're all also kind of like, you know, clenched cheeks, like, oh my God, if we do see news, is there any guarantee it's going to be any good news?
Yeah.
So, back to you.
Yeah, no, I was actually going to say, you know, speaking on Mr. Lavelle, appreciate you hanging in there with an off-season that most even diehard Cowboy fans are like wavering, I would say. Not myself, but I understand that feeling that, like, it's not really wavering. It's more like that feeling like, how much more of this are we going to keep experiencing? Yeah, I mean, here, you know, we did less than we usually already do, which is already very little. And even though there's some good draft picks in there and some good, you know, some positives, of course, the whole Cowboy fan base, even the delusional, ultra delusional fan base is like, you know, what are we going to do this year? Same thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's just a feeling right now in the Cowboy fan base and the family. So, look, I am excited, but not unrealistically excited. I'm excited because we have another chance, another run at this thing. But the players that we have now, we a better team now than we were last year at this exact moment. I don't care about the future development of these guys. Are we better? I don't think so than we were last year. Although offensively, we are better because we were running some shitty offense last year with McCarthy the first 6-7 weeks. But now I think the offense is a little more solid, and then when it comes to like knowing what needs to be done, even if there's still some question marks there, even if there's some downgrades there, there's some future hopefulness there. On defense, you know, there's still a whole new defensive overhaul, and these guys are still learning it. So, you know, there's a lot of questions to be answered. I think we can be better by week 10 than we were last year. But right now, I don't think we're better yet. That's my opinion. I know others have other opinions. Most people, you know, will be even worse, more down and out right now than I am, or, you know, some of the biggest fans are. But it's football is football, man. It's football season coming up right around the corner, training camp right around the corner. I'm excited just for that, the smell of the football field again, you know? Let's do this.
Usually for me, 4th of July is a real turning point. It's like, okay, you know, football really is just around the corner.
Well, we're not far from July 4th, so it's literally around the corner. Any other shout-outs before we keep it moving? Much love to Mr. Lavelle. Gallus is at 79 points, and we'll keep rolling here with some news, info, and updates. Not much tonight. It's a quickie for a reason. But we kick off kind of, it's not a new week, but a continuing week because we had so many days off, so you can speak, so much off news, no news going on, and so many, you know, only what, two streams? This is our 3rd stream I think we've had in 2 weeks. So, you know, we're on vacation. We also had COVID, but Cowboys also aren't doing shit. The only thing we want to hear is news that's good. Okay, they're going to be, you know, working out. They're going to be keeping ready for the training camp that's upcoming. They're going to be doing youth camps. That's all good. All right, they're going to do awards and they're going to do traveling and stuff. That's great. But we don't want to hear any of our current players in the news for legal reasons. We do want to hear the Cowboys in the news, maybe picking up a player or two. Don't hold your breaths, guys. Not tonight. It's a Cowboy Quickie for a reason. Any last words in the chat, maybe, before we keep it rolling and rolling?
Yeah, of course. And John Syme, again, perfect. You know, Nothing
Much love to
better
John
than
Cena.
coffee and some other adult libations here while you're chilling and hanging with the fam. So, of course, James, sir, we agree wholeheartedly. Jerry's a fraud.
Yeah.
And I actually just responded to Chalk to Montana 808's comment saying Dallas may not be better, but I promise you they will be more physical.
That I agree with as well. Even the young guys, they got more physicality than some of the veterans that we got on this team. So I agree there 100% as well. But better as a whole team, I don't think so yet. Better in week 10? Maybe. That could, if the guys step up that are supposed to, we definitely will be better than we were last year at that time. In my humble opinion. Now, again, I did shout out Skeptical Fans thanks drop. I think it was, I don't know if I shouted it out, but it was, I think it was yesterday or day before yesterday, and I want to make sure I quote him. He goes, "Are there any good quarterbacks in the 2025 draft?" I haven't kept up on that, but I know my guy here, Chalk to Montana, knows. Some of you guys may know, too. So drop some names if you want. Help out Skeptical.
Jerry and Stevens certainly think they know, probably.
Well, with the way things are looking, the point of that comment is like, are we really got to look for 2025? Trey Lance, big, huge question mark. Forget Cooper Rush. He ain't the starter. Dak Prescott, the contract. If they let him go somewhere else, which at this point, it's almost maybe better for Dak, then what's our next step, right? Trey Lance doesn't work out. Forget Cooper Rush. 2025 draft. I don't know. We got to see. So, as I look into the NFL side of the news, and we'll get those names, I'm sure, posted for Mr. Skeptical here shortly. The class action suit against the NFL for the Sunday ticket situation. Right now that's still going on, and the NFL is expected to begin deliberations starting on Wednesday. Both sides wrapped up their cases on Monday today. So, again, this thing will continue on Wednesday, and we'll see. Again, anybody who's got Sunday ticket is going to probably get some kind of discount, even if you got that little email about how much it costs. I would wait on that if possible. This thing's going to be figured out, and they might have to actually reduce the cost for those previous subscribers of Sunday ticket. So we'll see what happens. But just to keep you guys in the loop, we do talk about that a little bit. It wrapped, the both sides wrapped up their statement, their closing arguments on Monday. Wednesday, the jury will start figuring things out and coming up with a ruling on this. Very interesting to see how that's going to happen.
Let's see how it ends up shaking out, right?
Yeah, very, very important. If just for now and the future of kind of Sunday ticket, and how the NFL is going to handle. Is it going to be a team by team package you can buy? Is it going to be a local situation? We'll see. Anyways, the Kansas City Chiefs. Not much other NFL news. Even there's some other guys out there that were cut or picked up, lesser names. Nobody's going to affect the Cowboys, and if they do ever come to the Cowboys, we'll research them and discuss with them. Right? Anybody that's out there that's been cut or released, or pretty much practice squad fodder out there. So the one guy that was released that I do think has value but has issues. Kansas City Chiefs. We've been talking about this for a couple of days. This guy I've been talking about since the postseason. Before the postseason, when they released him, I think from Detroit. Isaiah Buggs. All right, he is a guy with problems right now. Unfortunately, left two dogs to die basically in his house. He got in trouble for that about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Then he got in trouble again for a second time in Alabama. I think both times were Alabama this offseason. For dragging his baby's mother down the stairs, breaking in. It's like armed burglary and assault. It's domestic violence. I don't know, he's got a lot of issues, but he was expected.
Put himself in a situation.
Yeah, he was expected to be released today. Officially, he was released, so he is a free agent. Now, I've been talking about this guy on the football field since last, I'd say December. After he was released, I'm like, let's pick him up. He's an interior defensive lineman that can take on double teams better than Mozzie Smith, and that is the case at the time. I don't know if it is anymore. I hope not. I hope Mozzie is better now, but I'm not holding my breath for that. The point is, Isaiah Buggs can do that job. The thing is, the Chiefs picked him up, won a Super Bowl. They still have him on their team. They got him there for a reason, and now they release him because of this reason. So he is a free agent. He will have to suffer the consequences of his actions, whatever they may be, and who knows when or if he'll ever play football again. So off the field, hell no, do not pick him up. But before these things happen, that's why I was kind of saying he's a valuable guy that can do the Hankins role. There's still a lot of guys out there that can do the Hankins role. So we didn't, it ain't the end of the world. But I do want to say for him, he's fucked up big time. He's going to have to deal with those consequences for Isaiah Buggs. Now, Cowboys. Not a lot of heaping news on our Cowboys and what's going on out there, which, again, is a good thing if you're, unless you're waiting for a signing, then you're like, oh, fuck. All right, no signings, guys. I'm telling you right now. And the two that we had were UFL, XFL guys. That's it. That's the Cowboys' big signings, UFL.
Yeah.
So a linebacker and a corner. So the real...
We're going for the creme de la creme there.
I know, we're going for the top here. Listen, Tyler Smith, big shout-outs to him. He was at his second annual youth football camp, and it was held at Fort Worth, Texas. I think he also had one at El Paso. So good stuff for Tyler Smith as he's embedding himself in the in the Dallas community, the Texas community. We love Cowboy for life. You know what I mean here? So big shout out for Tyler Smith there. The kids are having fun. It's a little interesting little fact. I do want to shout out two of those kids. The one that actually is in the video that I posted in the shorts. He actually responded on our short saying, "Hey, that was me." And he had a wonderful time. It was a great time he had there at this Tyler Smith camp. Before his post, I had another post from another kid that was there. And saying that, they had a great time. And he goes, I know that kid that ran that route. Like, he's my friend. I'm like, well, it was a great experience for these kids. Even a parent had said, saying that the kids had a great time at this camp. And, and this is all in our short that we have posted. So if you're curious, you can go check that out. Big shout out to Tyler Smith. Although when it comes to the actual play, obviously Tyler Smith, when you see Cooper Beebe, Tyler Smith playing defense in a cornerback coverage situation, the big guys ain't gonna be doing too much cutting, even if it's against little kids. Right?
Yeah.
So, letting them kind of get, letting themselves get beat a little bit, and they're having fun with the kids. So good stuff there from Tyler Smith, and just have fun out there, and let's stay in the good side of the news. I love it. Tyler Smith, a Cowboy for life. I feel. Now, what about how about some rookies? Because these rookies got a lot to learn before we get to training camp here. You know what I'm saying? They got specific rules and not rules, but specific kind of like
their
guides.
Offseason maybe isn't as laid back and relaxed as some of the veteran players.
Exactly. These rookies actually are given a lot of information to take with them.
Yeah, they kind of have a bit of
in the off
homework.
season. Yeah, they are out there working hard. And let me just talk about a couple of the guys that are working hard. We just talked about Tyler Smith, offensive lineman. Guess who's joining? I mean, he already works along with Terrence Steele and Brock Hoffman and many, many others. Zach Martin work with Duke Manyweather right there across the street from the Star, right in Frisco. He's in Frisco there. Now we have rookie 7th round pick Nate Thomas, working with Big Duke in this entire offseason. There's not really video. If there is, I will post it, but it's more like, it's more a photograph of him just doing more athletic stuff. He's a big guy. He's a big offensive lineman. Of course, he has his issues being drafted in the 7th round, obviously, but he's pushing hard. I mean, I suspect nothing worse than a practice squad spot for him. But these guys, very valuable. The Cowboys believe they got a little bit more than a 7th rounder out of him. So it looks good to see Nate Thomas really out there and trying to up himself with the guys that the Cowboys already use, like Duke Manyweather and O-line masterminds. That's where he's doing his thing there. So again, if you're a young offensive lineman looking to get better, that's what you do. And in Dallas, you definitely do that, and that's what Nate Thomas is doing. So positive news there on that rookie. We got two other rookies. Well, one other rookie and one second-year guy. Actually, let me rephrase that. 2 rookies from last year's class. So no one from this year's class. We know all these guys are busting ass, but even 2 of last year's guys are out there. They better put in work because they got to step up their game, or they're going to get beat out by some of these younger guys, rookies, maybe even some of the undrafted guys. So we're getting Eric Scott Jr., who was picked there in the 6th round, right before Deuce Vaughn in the 6th round. He was actually out there working out before this training camp period. These guys are not taking it easy. Both of them are him and Jalen Brooks on the other side of the ball, the 7th rounder from last year. Of course, looking to make a jump against the likes of Jalen Tolbert, who's right there in front of him at the 3rd spot. That's going to be a training camp thing to watch for, a battle to watch. Jalen Brooks, wide receiver. Eric Scott Jr., cornerback, who has to step up if he wants to try to make this team. We got Kalen Carson, who's the early fifth rounder. That's someone we're looking to it's going to push someone like Eric Scott. So we're going to see who comes out of this. But Eric Scott Jr., Jalen Brooks, both working out at the Exo Sports a training facility, looking to have more reps in year 2. So they're out there busting ass, and they better, because there's going to be competition in training camp for the depth of the board there. Now, some other guys that are not doing the working out thing right now, but they've been doing it. But just, we're going to talk about them in a different way. It is, how about we start with Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott was at the, he went to the tight end university, and he got a lot of flack. He got a lot of flack and a lot of bullshit because he was wearing a New York Yankees baseball jersey instead of a Texas Rangers baseball jersey, representing the hometown team, right? But there's a reason why Dak was wearing that New York Yankees jersey, because a couple days later, after the tight end university ended, and his passes he's throwing and commiserating there with the tight ends of the NFL, he did attend with his girl Sarah Jane a New York Yankees game. Now, does that mean Dak Prescott's a Yankee fan? He was wearing a Dallas hat there, the backwards Dallas hat, with the Dallas, the spelling, the buddy there with the Dallas hat. So he's repping the Cowboys, he's repping the star, but he was wearing on the shirt. He was wearing little logo of the Yankees. It wasn't a jersey. There was a little logo over the heart of that T-shirt he had bought there. But his wife wearing a New York Yankees hat, a New York Yankees shirt, a jersey. There's a reason for this. She's the big fan. She's a huge New York Yankees fan. Can you blame Dak for throwing on, his girl's favorite team's jersey? I'm asking you, baby, as a lady
in a nice neutral sport like baseball. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, it's not like she grew up a lifelong Eagles fan or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, exactly. She is, of course, a Cowboy fan. He'll be a fan of the Yankees for her, with her. I mean, I don't know who his real team might be, the Rangers, but they're watching the Yankees game. He's going to rep the Yankees. So there's pictures of her there with of course Dak at the game. It turns out that his girlfriend, Sarah Jane Ramos, has a relative who played for the New York Yankees back in 1991. So there's the actual even deeper connection. She actually has a family member that played for the Yankees. And his name is John Ramos, 1991. He was number 48. The last Yankee who wore number 48 was Anthony Rizzo. But the point here is Dak repping the Yankees because his girl loves the Yankees and has a family member that has played on the Yankees team. So shout outs there for anybody who got confused on what happened when it comes to that. Any quick thoughts on that from you? Or anybody else out there?
I just think it's funny that, Dak, just being a supportive man, caused such a stir in Dallas. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so, but
Texas,
I can
they
see how,
like that support in Texas.
Not just that, but I can see how any kind of New York representation maybe rubs Dallas fans the wrong way. So that's it.
Yeah, that's gonna suck then. Because I do rep this. I like New York City. New York City is one of the best places in the world.
I don't disagree with any of that. I'm just saying that obviously when it comes to the wearing of the New York teams, maybe don't do that. I guess some people feel strong. Honestly, some people feel more strongly about it than they thought.
Yeah, well, there you go. Look, it is what it is. Dak repping the Yankees for his girl. He gets a pass for that, in my opinion. Now, let's keep moving on to, what else is going on out there for the Cowboy players currently. They're working, doing things. They're going to games. Micah, what is he up to? Listen, he's got a bunch of camps going on, and we've talked about that. But he's also been to a chess tournament. He's playing chess out there. And, of course, you remember it was at this little tournament, at this little get-together. It's called the Universal Chess Tour.
It reminds me when Amari Cooper would play chess and stuff with Cowboy players.
You guys seen the video? It's up now. I mean, you had Cheeto Awuzie playing against Amari Cooper. Remember, they used to do that in the locker room. Yeah. Cheeto used to do it. They were doing this again in the table. They were playing each other. And Micah was there playing alongside. And he was playing up against Arizona Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray. So they were going up against each other. They were kind of seemed like they were more like messing around. They weren't taking it serious as Amari and Cheeto Awuzie. So, but either way, guys, they were all having some fun there. And Micah was also doing, some, his youth camp. He's going to finish up, I think, in Pennsylvania here. I think coming up this week, I guess. But He was at his youth camp, one of the last ones he did in Texas, and a kid said to him, and guys, I just posted the video like a couple hours ago, so if you missed it, check it out. But Micah had a funny back and forth with a kid at his youth camp. The kid said, Micah, you know, one time I went to your game. And he said, which one? And the kid said, the Green Bay Packers, which of course was the playoff loss. Micah said, delete that from your memory. Like in a very serious way. He's like really quick, like just delete that from your memory. Like he was very, kind of embarrassed.
Forget you were ever there with those little thingies from Men in Black.
Zap them.
Yep.
I wish we can do that to ourselves for that. But again, you know what? You would never learn. You got to keep that embarrassment in you there, Micah. So yeah, the kids should maybe delete it from their memory. But Micah, remember what you did wrong in the game, and also I guess with Dan Quinn, the way he set that whole thing up was a big issue. When the way he had our defense set up with smaller guys against their big packages. Don't get it. Yeah, don't get. I saw that smirk. So now the best duos out in the NFL when it comes to pass rushing. PFF has their list, and they always have their preseason list, and so their list right now per Gordon McGinnis from PFF. The best edge defender duos are Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence. That's according to PFF currently. That's at the edge defender spot. So, big shout outs there, I guess, for our pass rush at the edge. Now, defensive tackles, interior, DJ Reader and Alim Mitchell from the Lions. It's so funny because both those guys, I've shouted support for in the past before they were Cowboys. Like that our defensive, if I could have just drafted our defensive line, we would not have gotten Tristan Hill. You know what I'm saying? We would have gotten one of these guys instead. So to me, this would have been even a better defense if they had just had that interior solidified. Now linebackers, the Jets are ranked number 1 as the best duo linebackers. Quincy Williams, C.J. Mosley, and they also have the cornerback trio, the Jets. Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed, and Michael Carter II. At safety, you have Kyle Hamilton and Marcus Williams from the Baltimore Ravens. So when it comes to the defensive duos, that's the way that PFF is looking at them. If we had gotten someone like Stephon Gilmore back in the cornerback spot, I think you can make a case for the Cowboys being one of the best trios at cornerback. So anyways, we got Jordan Lewis, Deron Bland, and Trayvon Diggs coming back from the injury. So that's kind of like the Micah minute there, the Micah Parsons corner. Any quick comments or thoughts from the chat, baby, about anything we've spoken about here? Finishing up with the player news.
Now, a Revelation journalist said, force, as in, the Joneses, will never overthrow power, as in Dak Prescott. And power will never submit to force. So what happens when an immovable object meets an unstoppable force?
It's obvious.
Right?
It's going to come down to the owner. Because the owner makes the decision. They own the team.
That momentum's got to go somewhere, right?
That's where it's going to go.
And shout out, by the way, Juan Carlos. Aztec Aguilar 04. We have the man, Seabass, in the house.
Hey, Seabass.
By the way, Scorpio was saying, we really need to address the tight end spot. If Ferg goes down, we will be in panic mode. And, I agreed. But, again, the Cowboys have different plans this year once again at tight end. So
out of all our positions that I worry about, tight end, I can't put it on the higher list because you look at it and say, okay, at receiver, someone goes down. Do you trust Jalen Brooks to jump in there and start? And then you have Tolbert has to be the number 2. You know what I mean? Like that. Do you trust that? That's a bigger issue than tight end because listen, at tight end, you have, of course, Ferguson, but you also have Schoonmaker, who is going to be there and he's going to be ready for the season. Mm-hmm. You also have again John Stevens, who's going to be in the mix here to be kind of similar to Ferguson in this way, where he can kind of block but also be athletic and catch. So you have guys that are definitely can step in that role. And listen, and if Hendershot, who's more athletic guy than a great blocker. But my point is that you have these guys still in the mix. I'm not as worried kind of moving to the next line if we have to go to the next group, move everybody up a spot. Of course, we don't. That's a big loss to lose Ferguson, So no matter what, it's a big loss. But we have 4 guys that we could kind of going to keep on this team. So, that to me is going to be I think we'll be better there than at other positions. At running back, we lose any of these guys. Like, we don't even know who our guy is going to be.
Yeah.
But we're going to have Deuce Vaughn starting. You know what I'm saying? To me, there's a lot of bigger issues there. You could even complain about the offensive line because we're young. So if we lose center, if we lose one of the guards, and we have to move Tyler Smith to tackle, what do we do at that guard? We're going to go real young again. T.J. Bass, Cooper Beebe, young. You know what I'm saying? So center, Brock Hoffman, just a lot of question marks, bigger I think than that tight end. But that's all. That's my opinion. I understand his point though of the talent level definitely drops if you lose Ferguson.
Again, to me, it's more about the very, very sharp, deep incline that happens, or decline, I should say, in talent.
Something happens to Ferguson.
Yeah. I almost said if/when, and I'm like, oh no, that's not what I meant to say.
Yeah.
So, but yes, and again, we've addressed a lot of other positions when it comes to offense, but it still feels like tight end is somehow being left as an afterthought in a lot of ways.
Well, I should say one other guy in there. That Brevin Smythe Ford. He's going to be in the mix, too. We got guys deep on this thing. Listen, we are fine.
Yeah, I know.
We are not. It's overlooked only in the sense of like we're getting an undrafted guy who should have been drafted. The guy we're getting should have been drafted. The guy we have as an undrafted should have been drafted. He's going to be in the mix as well. So I'm not worried. Tight end, one of the least worried positions, I think, for me in my mind. I don't think it's an afterthought. I think that the Cowboys overthought it with Schoonmaker last year. And now it should be a fucking afterthought, to be honest. Jet Li in the place to be. Jet Li 44 dropping that dollar holla.
Ooh.
Much love to him as he's still in the neck and neck race with Skeptical Fan with those gifted memberships, one apiece. And he dropped that $1 holler. Appreciate you. Let me guess what he said. Yo, Cowboys.
Always go Cowboys.
You know it.
Thank you, Jet Li 44. I almost called you by your previous name. But again, thank you so much. Appreciate you there. Let me take a second here because I do see some new names here in the chat. All right, we have Lost in Translation Podcast. What's up? Tom.
Yeah.
Let me see. Seabass, Aztec Aguilera 4, Juan Carlos. I think I shouted you guys out. All right. Back to you, baby. Yeah, just want to make sure I didn't leave anybody out.
Let's get to the... I hate saying this is the big news because unfortunately it might not even be real news in the sense that of where the sources are coming from. But there's all this talk right now that Mike McCarthy... is a rumor. So Mike McCarthy reportedly beginning to get, quote, fed up, end quote, with, not with this, but not with Lost in Translation Podcast or a Skeptical Fan who's now in first place on the gifting board. Much love to him. But he's getting fed up with Jared Jones. That's the word. I'll get into this in a minute and break it down a little bit more. We can sift through this and find what's bullshit and what isn't. But yeah, that's the word. Is Mike McCarthy getting fed up with Jerry Jones and his antics? Before we get into that, baby, just to reiterate things, I'm going to update the board. What just happened? We just got to take over their first place now for Skeptical Fan in the gifting side of things.
That's right. Huge shout out to you, Skeptical. And congrats there, Lost in Translation.
Lost in Translation Podcast back in the mix. Yes. And it's Skeptical still in second there a little bit. Not too far, I will say. Not too far. I mean, he's like less than 20 back on first place for Mr. McLovin there. But Skeptical Fan currently in first place when it comes to the gifting side of the board.
Yes. Again, huge shout out to you there. And by the way, the comment right before that by Mr. Seabass said, Ferg and Brevin will lock in both respectively big targets for Dak. Ferg's like 6'5", Brevin is 6'6".
And I think that, again, I'm not going to jump the gun on... I just want to say this. I got to see this Brevin guy perform. I want to see him perform before I say he's our second guy in there, I got to see it happening because we cannot forget about John Stevens Jr., who's going to be in there, and he had a really good-looking start last year. I want to see how he mixes in this thing. Does Hendershot stay around? Does he have a shot? Does Hendershot have a shot? I don't know. I think he's getting pushed off the roster because of guys like Stevens, because of guys like Brevin Ford. I think these are the things that we're going to have to see in training camp before we can just say this is the way it is. But the good news is we have a lot to pick from at tight end. I think we have less to pick from at other positions and more question marks at other positions than at tight end. Although I do agree, there's a lot of high end possibilities, high ceiling stuff with some of these guys. So yes, that's a good comment there by Seabass, of course. And again, another shout out to Skeptical Fan, who's still in second place overall, but first place on the gifting board.
So,
any other quick thoughts, or are we ready to keep rolling?
No, we can keep rolling here.
Because we were talking about this big news here that McCarthy's fed up with Jerry Jones. How true is this? Well, let me break down the report here, because it comes supposedly. First of all, it comes from a lot of sources that are usually clickbait shit. So that's why you see me not really jumping into this, like hailing into this, saying, "Yeah, look at this," because I'm not buying it complete. But let's just take a look at it first. So they're saying it was brought about this fed up commentary by Tyler Dunn. Supposedly Tyler Dunn, a reporter for Go Long TD. Has done stuff for the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, for the Buffalo News, for BR. What's the I can't believe I forgot the name, but report. It's the one that Micah works with. Bleacher Report.
Oh, okay.
So
sorry, since you said VR.
Yeah, I said BR. But yes, the thing is that these places that he's worked with. Okay, some of it's credible, that kind of stuff. The word is that, and this is what he's saying, that this is what they're saying, that McCarthy's fed up. Tyler Dunn is saying, supposedly, quote, McCarthy's doing the best that he can. Some of the people I've talked to have said that he is getting fed up with all of this a little bit. So he's getting fed up with Jerry Jones and the way the front office moves. I mean, dealing with this for years, let's be real. But yeah, I want to like kind of break down the reason why. Actually, a former Cowboys personnel said this, quote, "It's crazy what's going on, and it doesn't ever really change." That's from somebody who worked with the Cowboys. So when I'm putting this together here, I hear, okay,
the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Well, again, from this reporter and this report and from these sources, I don't know if I trust it all, but former Cowboy personnel, they have a bone to pick. But they also seen what we've been seeing. Maybe they're just trying to bring it to fruition. We know about the video that Stephen Jones can't even doesn't even know DeAndre Swift is. You know what I'm saying? That's a problem when you're looking for trades being done and they don't know what they're talking about. They're talking about the front office, and he don't talk to anybody else about it. So we know the Cowboy front office easy for getting criticized for dumb shit like this. And I don't say this is false. I think McCarthy's been pissed. I think he's been fed up with the front office since the beginning. I know you say different. I know you say he agreed to it all. I don't think he agreed willingly. I think he knew he had to do this too, and he didn't like it from the beginning, but he had to do it if you want to be a Cowboy coach. That's my opinion on this. So it's not new news, but you got to, you have issues with the front office that we've talked about here. We've called it the clown show for a reason. And we've been doing this for, unfortunately, since the beginning of this show, of our channel, which is, by the way, less than a week away from being 7 years old on YouTube, turning into its 8th year on YouTube. But when I look at this, I say, the issue has always been the fucking clown show. Always. And you look at a failure to grasp the quarterback market, like we're seeing now with Dak Prescott. You see, they don't spend the money that they say they're going to spend. They're going to go all in. They don't spend money on veterans from the outside who can close the gap to get and win a Super Bowl. They don't do the extra step. They don't spend the extra money it takes to bring in a new outside free agent to make things go forward. And speaking of going forward, we got Jet Li 44 dropping the $2.74 holler in the house. What did Jet Li have to say?
Ooh, he said, "Go Cowboys."
Oh, Cowboys.
Thank you so much, Jet Li.
Yes.
I appreciate you, of course,
thank
representing.
You. Yes, thank you. Big shout out. And Godless goes to 75 points in the stream boss.
That's right.
Appreciate you, brother. So as I keep it going here, I'm just trying to break down why you can see this thing building up. For years, they haven't handled the quarterback market well. The Joneses, right? They don't re-sign their own players, the stars. They wait too long to re-sign our own players. We've seen it in the past. Ends up costing more money. We've seen it now, in the present. It's them doing it, right? They have resistance to signing outside free agents that can help this team take us to that 6, to get us to that conference championship, that Super Bowl. They just bank on everyone we got now, stepping up. Everyone we got now, for the most part, is what they do. They have a trade here and there. We know we got Cooper, a big Amari Cooper trade some years back when we were blowing we were getting embarrassed out there. I think we were 3-5 at the time. And you got other things going on, like, okay, we got Stephon Gilmore, Brandon Cooks deal last year. Oh, that was insanity. But the Cowboys, in a decade span, in 3 decades almost, have done horrible deals or moves, just horrible, or have done nothing at all. It seems like, it feels like. So, or very little, even if it does end up being good, they blow it. They threw away Amari Cooper's abilities and the ability to get something more in a trade because of mismanagement. So the front office is crap. It's trash, and we know it. We've been saying it here for years. McCarthy's now fed up with it. All of a sudden, why do you think he may be? More fed up.
Why is McCarthy possibly feeling
fed up,
more fed up now than previously?
I'll tell you why, and I'll tell you easily why. And remember this, too, from the Cowboy representing that star. Who else is fucking up a lot? We talk about the players all the time.
Yeah.
But Jerry Jones and his raunchy sexual escapades and all these things going on with, his guy, his right-hand man, taking pictures of cheerleaders and Rich, get this shit, get it fixed.
Yeah, Rich Quick Schemes.
No. The rich guy, the guy who is, Des Bryant says, get this shit fixed, Rich. The Dalrymple, whatever his name is.
Fix this shit, Rich?
Yeah, he was taking pictures of the of cheerleaders changing in the locker room. I'm just trying to say, that, along with
was shown the door very kindly by Jerry.
Yeah, and after years and years being with the Cowboys, and again, Jerry Jones cheated. We know this. He had a kid after winning the Super Bowl with some airline stewardess. So Jerry Jones is drinking and wine while driving. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are the things that add to the frustration of anybody who would be a coach of this team. I'm just being real. We got to talk about it in when you add all of that on top of the fact that we have this decent roster with some decent coaches that are always underachieving. It starts from the top, but it does have some of it to do with the rest of the squad as well. Let's be honest. And Jerry Jones, who talks a lot of shit, said about going all in. And then going all in on our own guys, you know what I mean? That's not what all in is. He said recently, quote, I'm not known as a guy who gets hand cramps when I'm writing checks. Yeah.
You got to pick up the pen first to be able to get that cramp, Jerry.
But even after all that is said and done, even though they're easy targets for this, here's what I think. Because Clarence Hill Jr. kind of brought it together, and kind of people are asking, is this really credible sources? Is this really a situation that's really going on? Clarence Hill summed it up, and I'm going to kind of paraphrase, but this is basically my thoughts, that basically McCarthy and his family, they are happy in Dallas. That's number one. Mm-hmm. So that he likes being the coach of the Cowboys. His family's happy in Dallas. The kids like Dallas. But the bigger issue, if there's any frustration, if there's any real difference, it's the fact that this is his final year. This is a contract year.
Nothing left to lose.
That's true. Nothing left to lose, but also frustration. Because they like it in Dallas. They know this is also, nothing to lose, but also there's a lot to lose, baby. Because for him and his family, they don't want to leave Dallas. Of course, you want to keep your job as well if you're McCarthy, but he knows things are coming to an end in Dallas. It's frustrating. And he's probably a little more frustrated than usual, even with the nothing to lose attitude. Still probably a little more frustrated when you're not getting anyone really in to help him keep his job. You're taking people away on the field. You took a coach away, and not his, Dan Quinn. But my point is that, and you're not really replacing the players, like you initially said you were going to try to do as a quote-unquote all-in. So
I agree.
No one's going to be comfortable coaching on a one-year deal, on their contract deal. Let me put it that, right? Now, let me also add to this, is even though Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones are the fault of where we sometimes end up, or some issues that happen with his team. Is it their fault on the field, the way we lost to the Green Bay Packers? Everyone is pissed off about that loss in the playoffs. Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, they didn't do much movement. But McCarthy also let the team down in that way, not having them prepared with a 12-5 record as the second seed in the playoffs. So no matter what the fuck-ups were from the Joneses, we were the second seed, home field advantage until the Niners in the playoffs last year and got embarrassed by the Green Bay Packers. So when you really break this down, to me, it's like, wow, it's not a surprise, but I understand the extra frustration for McCarthy. And, too bad he's fed up in the sense of like, well, we lost against the Packers. Well, you were supposed to get these guys ready against the Packers. Mike McCarthy, all right, I'm going to say that what I've heard is that that Mike McCarthy and Jerry Jones have a better relationship than most people think they have by the outside view. But Mike McCarthy also knows the finances, and he also likes to be able to pick the players he wants. The reason
that's how Jerry kind of, I don't want to say controls him, but that's how he, continues to work his Jerry Jones magic. Because,
do you think?
Because if McCarthy wants to bring in the players that he wants, he kind of has to find some that that are within the Cowboys' budget. Let's say.
That's the frustration. But do you think that McCarthy is really allowed to do anything this year? Because I don't think it's as much as has been happening.
Agree.
And the reason is because
maybe that's why it's been such a quiet offseason.
Mike McCarthy knows the money situation. Knows the Cowboys are not going to spend money on guys. And he's frustrated about that. It sounds like, right? But I think a big part of this is to be able to pick the players you want to keep, be more involved. Do you remember? Right, I'm saying this only because you remember when he was done with Green Bay at the middle of the season? Why? What was one of the biggest reasons? Outside of his performance or whatever you can say, he had 2 or 3 years that he was not allowed to help with the draft or help pick players or help deal with the free agent stuff. He was not really allowed to help anymore with the new GM they had in Green Bay. So he got sick of that quickly and fast and got fed up quickly and fast with that. So some of this fed up talk can definitely come from that as well, from that mindset where now he's kind of seems to be maybe, even though he's still involved with some of the decisions, he's still not allowed to pick certain players. I'm talking about free agency because of the budget concerns that the front office is bullshitting about. And he knows it. And, of course, the all-in comment. Dak had a smart-ass comment about that. McCarthy had a smart-ass comment about that. I'm saying the people know, the players know, and the coaches know that this is a frustrating front office. So is this something new, this news about the being fed up? I think that the last year, playing on your last year of your contract, and not really adding anybody he really wanted on this team, we don't know who he wanted, didn't want. But you got to assume he would have wanted more than just Eric Kendricks in the free agent market. So with that in mind, of course, it's going to be even more frustrating when you're on your contract year, if you're McCarthy. And again, the Joneses, I do not believe are responsible for what happened with the Green Bay Packers, but I do believe those off-season decisions and the country club environment, as Clarence Hill said himself, these are the things. This is the mindset that does not have you ready for the playoffs. Some of that is out of McCarthy's control. And that also adds to the frustration to McCarthy. I'm just saying. So, again.
The best laid plans and all that.
Yeah, I mean, listen. In the end, McCarthy is coaching without a safety net this year. And that, if there's fed-upness or frustration, it's a combination of everything I just said to you guys. I hope you guys retained it. I can't really redo it again. So, hopefully, it just kind of flowed out of me. I paraphrasing what Clarence Hill said, and I do think I do agree with most of what was said. And again,
Texas Cat, great point. He said if Big Mike is fed up, what does he think the fans are? We've been fed up for 30 freaking years, bro.
He sees the frustration now, even more so. He's been frustrated before this, but he sees the frustration now even more. Fans or no fans.
Yeah,
he sees it now more because he's on his contract year.
Well, and not just that, but he's also been, I don't want to say hung out to dry by our front office, but they are certainly not trying in any way, shape, or form to shield McCarthy from any kind of criticism. So, just saying. And it's like you said, based on the last few years of McCarthy kind of running things or helping to run things, it seems like they are talking less. It seems like they are less involved. Not because they're somehow less involved in the team, but because it sounds like they just are less involved with each other on a mutual level,
Yeah.
McCarthy is very focused on all his coaching duties and not really so much on the team management duties that took up some of his time during so much of the off season and
when you look at the fact that I cannot see Mike McCarthy sitting in a room saying, let's make sure we use all of our second and third and fourth year guys stepping up this year. By the way, this is my contract year, my last year with the Cowboys, probably. I can't see McCarthy saying, let me have my second and third year guys step up. Let's not make any moves in free agency outside of Zimmer wanting Eric Kendricks in here. And let's have the draft go this way and bank on our undrafted guys again. I cannot see Mike McCarthy saying, let's do it that way. And that is all I'm not saying that McCarthy is fed up because this is the way it's been every year. It's been this way. Of course, McCarthy has his say in the draft. He has some input in the draft. So he's always had that, and I think he's had it again this year. But I think the frustration has always been never really able to really create your team off of the guys you want in free agency. You're creating the team off the Joneses who they want off the cap. And their own guys that were here either with or before McCarthy. So that I think is where the big difference is, and I think it's all coming to the forefront now because this is the last year, the contract year for McCarthy. He's not getting any help really from the front office. He's not able to pick free agents that he wants because of the cap situation. So like previous years, it's very similar, except this year, no safety net. I think that's what I'm trying to say here. There's no real, it's not really, well, I can do this and still be here. Now it's like, I don't do this, I'm out of here. And that's that. And he likes Dallas. His family likes Dallas. So that's the frustration. That's the quote-unquote fed-upness. It's not any different than it really was, other than he's on his own last year, and he didn't get any help really from this front office. Input-wise, free agent-wise,
Which, again, isn't that the start of a wonderful winning season, right? Knowing that your coach and your front office are at odds, even if it's in a small way or in a fundamental way.
Well, I think it's in a bigger way and a more out front way than it has been in the past, which I do believe. And I'm not saying it's going to happen, but don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if we have a bad start to this season and somewhat similar to the Green Bay year with McCarthy, that the front office will say, you know what? He's fired. Zimmer, you take over head coaching duties. Do not be surprised if that happens.
A lot of that hinges on how our defense does in those first few games.
True. Well,
because your implication is that obviously the team itself might struggle or have a rough time, but the defense has to look good for that to even begin to be a possibility. The
scheme on defense will be the bigger issue than the offense. Offense is fine. I don't think it's going to be the problem with the offense if McCarthy goes. It's more of the overall coaching and the record and the look if McCarthy goes early, and not before the end of the season. I think that if the defense is playing the first 3-4 weeks of the season, I would not judge the defense because they're still kind of getting that scheme. But if you've seen by week 10, the defense is like top notch, but the offense is either struggling or the team is just struggling as a whole because of the head coaching spot. The Joneses, whether it's for looks or not, our record, the defense playing great, but we might be 3-5. The Joneses say bye McCarthy, and then then Zimmer takes over and we have a great second half of the season where the schedule is a little easier. You understand what I'm trying to say here? So I think the Cowboys would rather go with Zimmer to pick up the rest of the year just to make really the whole blame go on McCarthy if they fire him mid-season. Now, will the Joneses do that? Usually they won't. You know why? Because they don't want to admit their mistake. They don't have an upstart Jason Garrett in the background right now. They don't have. They had Garrett when they had Wade Phillips, and he was an easy target to get out of there, right? But they had the Clapper. They had Jason Garrett back there, and he was the unknown upstart guy, right? Taking over. But they don't have an upstart guy. Who is the upstart guy now? It's no one. It's Zimmer is the only other head coaching kind of guy we got on this team, and he'll be taking over a brand new team. So again, a lot of big issues. It has to be really bad, I think. It would have to be really bad if if McCarthy is gone by the middle of the year. It's going to be like a 3-5 season, and the Joneses will use that to say goodnight to him.
Brandon Wesley saying, as a diehard fan, how much can we take? I'm still waiting for the so-called all-in crap to come to life.
Oh, don't wait.
No one is helping McCarthy at all. Just a piss-poor front office.
And listen, that is, we've been saying this, that is always has been the issue with this team. With Garrett, even when Garrett was a poor coach. I said this for years and years, not a good coach. But I also know that the foundational issue is the front office. And that's just the way it is. The front office kept him too long. The front office, because they had a guy who listened to what they said. Why do you think they kept Kellen Moore longer? Because he was the guy they had input with on offense. McCarthy had his hands tied until last year, when you see the offense, when McCarthy was opening it up, got a lot better. So you can see that, the Joneses putting their hands in the mix of things, because it always dooms us. It always fails us. But it's still blame to go to the coach. It's still blame to go to the players. That's not being excused, but we know the foundational issue has always been the goddamn front office. Always, yeah.
So, I mean, hey, that's why we have our clown show emojis, right?
Yeah. Drop them if you got them, I guess.
Tom said Jason Garrett's enjoying this.
He is, but Jason Garrett's enjoying this while he's watching. He's pumping gas for you guys at the gas station.
It's funny. I can actually
he's
see
nowhere
Jason
to be
Garrett
found.
just feeling bad for the poor front office.
Listen, Jason Garrett would love nothing more to come back there as an advisor, to, an adopted son to Jerry Jones. But that's, again, Jerry Jones didn't learn for 12 years with Garrett. I mean, 10 years was it? 8-8 was his basic average. You can't get he's average. Jason Garrett was average with the best players we could have given him, and then the cap came in, and then the Joneses started playing cap games with through the Garrett into the. And I'm not saying it's like new stuff. I'm saying when we got the Romo deal, the Dez deal, all those deals, and using that excuse as why we couldn't pay guys, and we have Dak all these years. Don't take advantage of that money. And then we make room with money with Dak Prescott and move his contract forward and in those years we complain about the money, we move forward. Not we, they do. That's the front office. They're always playing games. It's always going to be crap. Always going to be trash. Anyways, let's finish this up. About training camp, it is still a little bit away, right? We still got what, a month away? I would say, guys, literally a month away. But I want to talk about a couple of very interesting matchups that we should be looking at as we get ready for training camp. Now, I still hope the Cowboys do make a move, and let's bring in some guys that can help this team, whether we're talking about cornerback depth. We're talking about, I can't have enough, to me, I say offensive line depth. We talked about some of these free agents, like a Bakhtiari, who I think, is going to be, I heard he's going to be heating up as far as the interest for him. And I say heating up, I mean like, veteran deal kind of heating up. Like Calais Campbell got. These guys are out there still. We could get guys to help this defense. We get help to help the trenches, the offensive line, and other spots we may need help in here. So there's a lot of available guys. You're going to have Williams from Denver. You still got Cook out there as running back. There's a lot of guys available. So, of course, we don't know what can change when it comes to matchups that will be interesting to keep an eye on. But these are kind of more, I'd say, I'm going to give you kind of the reasonings why I think training camp is going to be important. It's not to see. We're not going to look at training camp like some fans out there, the Cowboys, they think that we're going to see training camp to see if Dak's going to be the starter or not. Is Trey Lance going to take over the starting? Shut the fuck up. We're looking at Trey Lance if he can be the backup or he's going to be the third stringer. Dak is the starter. Everything else, get out your heads. And I'm just trying to be real about this. You can call someone like Zeke the starter. He will be the quote unquote starter because I believe he's getting paid the most money than any running back we have in our team right now. It's not much. But will he get most of this? Will he get the biggest percentage of snaps? I don't know that question. So is he really the starter? It's just the way the things are worded and run. We're not going to get all the answers to these things. But we're going to see some guidance to what we're going to. And the bigger deals, I think, it's more where you can get out of this from your team. Not really, you can talk about players, but it's more about interesting matchups to see where these players might shine in training camp or against the schemes in training camp. So, again, a lot of questions about the Cowboy roster. All right? That by the end of training camp, we will have answers for, solidified answers. Like I said, the running back situation and things like this. Who's going to be the starters? Who's going to get cut? What depth do we have? Do we need help on some positions into training camp? We might see we need an extra player here and there, or an extra position or not. So, again, you always talk about the training camp star, will that Brevin Ford guy be showing out, undrafted tight end? I think he will be a guy that shows out, but you can look at position battles. I'm not looking at that today. Okay, we could talk about this all day long. We will be talking about this throughout the training camp, but let's look closer at kind of like, I would say, almost how you can help this entire team a lot better. For example, you have out there someone like, when he's out there at the first team, like Dak Prescott, testing this new defense and going against guys that are coming back from injury like Trayvon Diggs. I think this is a great matchup to kind of watch. Last year, what did these two guys do? You remember what happened last year in training camp? Both these guys went at each other, back and forth, screaming and yelling at each other. The intensity, got bigger and better again. Iron sharpening iron kind of mindset, right? That's what happens when you have Trayvon Diggs in the field. Now back from his ACL, hopefully rehabbed enough to be on that field against Dak Prescott when the star is up there. When they're both, they're both top of their respective positions, the top tier, when they're both healthy on the field. And they also like to have that friendly competition and a little bit of trash talk. And yes, Dak brings it, and yes, Trayvon brings it. Friendly competition. We got a glimpse of these dynamics last year in training camp. I would like to see that kind of competition and intensity and passion in this training camp coming up. And the testing of this guy, if he's out there enough, and I don't think he will be out there enough. That's going to be my real thought on this. But Trayvon Diggs, ACL coming back from surgery, pumped up, ready to go up against Dak. Dak loves to foster a highly competitive environment, in training camp, in practices, really everywhere. And he spoke about these benefits recently. We talked about this in the OTAs and minicamp. In the last days of minicamp, it had that training camp feel again, the same intensity Dak brings. You got Diggs coming back from that knee injury. He's not 100% certain he's going to be fully participating in the training camp program. But if he's around, which I do think he'll be there for, at the very least, the end part of things, I think that you'll see training camp, even if it goes back to Dallas from Oxnard. You will see it in, the hottest, intense portions of practice will be when those two guys are on the field facing off against each other. So that's just one of the things I'm looking at here as we enter training camp and see, of course, the battle for the number 2 spot. Like I said, we could talk about, is it going to be Cooper Rush or Trey Lance? Who's going to be the backup to Dak Prescott? But I'm not really talking about that. I'm talking about kind of pushing this team forward better. I do truly think that one of the biggest helps you're gonna get from the Cowboys in training camp, and this is a big one, is not just learning the scheme from Kendricks or position back. This is about Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons is going to push and challenge Tyler Guyton. He's going to push and challenge Cooper Beebe. Mm-hmm. This is where these guys, these rookies, these young guys are going to learn a lot faster. When they're in the starting lineup, who do you think Tyler Guyton's going to see? Forget about week 1 and Myles Garrett and the Browns. Who do you think he's going to see week 1, day 1 in training camp when the pads are on, full blast, coming from that left side against them? Yeah, sometimes it's going to be DeMarcus Lawrence, and a lot of times it's going to be Micah Parsons. I mean, even Tyron Smith was getting thrown around last year by Micah Parsons. What do you think is going to happen with Tyler Guyton back there? The truth, this is how you're going to see. They're not going to be great day 1, but they're going to be a lot better day 1 than they would have been if they never faced Micah Parsons for entire training camp and practice. So, again, when you look at minicamp, the 2 rookie linemen, Tyler Guyton and Cooper Beebe, they were taking reps with the second team. So they didn't get even a glimpse, really, of what Micah was going to bring to them, So at training camp, there's a high probability that Tyler Guyton is going to be the starting left tackle. And there's a good chance that you're going to see a lot of first-string reps from Cooper Beebe at center, and maybe even guard, but at center for sure. So when you have Beebe in the middle there and Micah lining up over him in the A-gap, mugging the A-gap, which is going to be a third down situation that Zimmer's going to bring, that's going to make Cooper Beebe better. It's going to make Brock Hoffman better if he's the guy there. My point is that Micah is going to make the entire offensive line immediately better than they would be without him there on that field, which is major and very important. So, when you look at, to me, Tyler Guyton needs a lot of practice on that edge. He's definitely going to probably start against Myles Garrett. You got to get the most of Micah against him out there, battling him and making him make those mistakes now so he can be ready for Myles Garrett week 1. So, again, not getting them against Micah in these OTAs and minicamp, probably a good strategy to ease them into the NFL style of things. By training camp, they're going to get dealing with Micah the entire time. Tyler Guyton and Cooper Beebe. And facing the lion himself, Micah is going to definitely test and get these rookies ready quicker than anyone else can. Last year at training camp, like I said, he was throwing Tyron Smith around. It was the Micah Parsons show last year. His play was extremely aggressive. At one point, remember, they had to actually take him off the field. Mike McCarthy said, no Micah Parsons today. He almost went into Dak Prescott's leg in some of these plays.
Yeah, he was kind of
out of control.
A little too into it. Remember, these
too aggressive.
are still supposed to be, practices and taking it easy. I'm just trying to say that he just went a little too hard in a moment where he wasn't supposed to. And they did have to cool his jets for a minute so that he could.
I would say it wasn't. He was supposed to. I think he just can't get near anybody with the red jersey. That's what I'm saying. Areas, maybe they were all playing full strength, But when Micah goes full strength, that's what he does. Like you said, he goes full strength. He might hurt somebody, and he almost hurt Dak. It wasn't a punishment because he was doing too much on a play he shouldn't have done that much. Because he has to watch himself from not hitting the quarterback anywhere. When you got the red jersey on, you gotta miss him. So he went so hard that it was just getting too close to the quarterback. And the Mark McCarthy just said, we gotta cool him off a little bit. But that's what he does, and he's gonna bring it like that again this training camp against guys like Tyler Guyton, a rookie, and guys like Cooper Beebe, a rookie. They're gonna have their hands full dealing with Micah Parsons. But first, let's shout out. Is that Skeptical Fan?
Yes, it is.
Dropping another one. He already broke the tie. He's 2 up on Jet Li 44.
That's right.
Who won this one, baby?
Scorpio.
Oh, yeah.
Huge shout out to you again, Skeptical Fan, and congrats, Scorpio. Drop him if you got him.
Big shout out. Huge shout out.
So, and by the way, guys, since we are, getting towards the end of the stream here, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You guys can follow us anywhere and everywhere at MyCowboysFamily, and of course, hop in the Discord. The link for that's in the description box down below.
Yeah, I'm updating the board here, baby, so hit up a comment or two.
Of course.
About this training camp talk I got going.
Let me see. Chalk to Montana already said, Parsons is not a Myles Garrett. No, but again, he definitely has that dog mentality. So, Bad Intention said, the last time the Cowboys seriously drafted a quarterback, it ended up in the Super Bowl. Called Troy Aikman. Well, again, Troy Aikman was a first-round pick. I don't know what kind of quarterback you think we're going to be getting. And if you recall, the last time Jerry wanted a top-tier quarterback, who was it again? It was in 2016. What's his name? Paxton Lynch. There we go. I always forget his name.
That's who they wanted, yeah.
That's who they wanted. That was the top-tier quarterback that we were going to go all in for. So, you let me know if you would have rather gone that direction. Just saying. Let me see. Now, by the way, the man Seabass said, Parsons is not a Myles Garrett in size, but I think Guyton practicing against his best challenger, Micah, will get him ready for Myles Garrett.
I got to get to answer that comment by Montana. I wanted to answer it.
Okay,
I also wanted to fix the board, make sure I got skeptical. There were 3 gifted memberships. But, yeah, I agree. He's a different kind of player. In fact, you get like a DeMarcus Lawrence against Guyton, and he's going to get a little more, I think, Myles Garrett-like looks from him. It's not about Myles Garrett to get him ready for Myles Garrett. It's to get him ready against the quickness, the strength, the power of different kind of guys in the NFL. And one of those guys is Micah Parsons, who's one of the hardest guys to block. So if you just get him that's a big, I agree with Seabass, you're getting enough dosage of Micah Parsons, it's going to get you more ready than if you didn't have Micah Parsons on your team. And then you throw in there DeMarcus Lawrence, again, for the week of the Browns, I think you're going to see more DeMarcus Lawrence, coming at Tyler Guyton. side of things. I think you're going to see maybe them trying to get guys that maybe play more like Myles Garrett. There's no one out there in our team that plays like Myles Garrett. So that's a fact. But I think that the speed, the strength, the agility that Micah has, along with the way that the Marcus Lawrence rushes, that's the way you get him ready for Myles Garrett. But the way you get him ready for the NFL, you throw all these guys at him, and it'll make him better. If you didn't have DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons, if you had Dorrance Armstrong, and you had Dante Fowler out there and Sam Williams, you think Tyler Guyton's going to be ready against a Myles Garrett? The answer is hell fucking no.
Right.
He'll be a little more ready, or maybe I would say a lot more ready, if he went against Micah. He'd be a lot more ready if he goes against Micah and DeMarcus Lawrence. So that's all. I think it's a combination of that. I think Micah being one of the best. Not about Myles Garrett. It's about being ready in the NFL to me. The whole thing. So anyways, when we kind of finish this point here, last year, Tyron Smith, Tyler Biadasz, they were both veterans, of course, last year, and they were still getting rolled by Micah and by them. And I say by a lot of our defensive players, they were getting mauled by them. These are, again, I got to bring up the fact that Tyron Smith is getting flung around by Micah Parsons. So to me, that is where I kind of still will say, what is Tyler Guyton going to be able to do against Micah Parsons? What is he going to do against guys like DeMarcus Lawrence? So, same thing goes for Tyler Biadasz kind of knows the system, and he got into some fights last year and, going back and forth. He provided. What will Brock Hoffman? I mean, Hoffman is involved all the time in that shit, but what will the younger guys do? What will Cooper Beebe do? He's got that physicality, right? So I want to see it out there in training camp. I'm looking forward to this. But both these rookies, Tyler Guyton, who's also very physical, and Cooper Beebe, it's going to be a daunting task going up against all these defensive guys we have. But I got to throw in there Micah Parsons on top. While, again, it's not going to be pretty for these rookies against Micah. A lot of value will come from facing one of the best pass rushers in the NFL at the beginning, right from training camp day one. And maybe the second best guy in there in DeMarcus Lawrence. I'm just saying, and I say second best, I mean on our team. But for some guys like Lane Johnson, they believe that, Micah's very difficult to defend, and DeMarcus Lawrence is right there with them. So, who has a little more size, a little more like Myles Garrett for, let's say, those 2 weeks we have before that Cleveland Browns game. So I think we're going to be fine with both these guys, specifically Micah, pushing both of these rookies as hard as they can. If Guyton and Beebe, win these starting position battles, it's going to make it just a tad easier week one against Defensive Player of the Year, Myles Garrett, from last year. And again, you just got to hope these reps pay off against, for Tyler Guyton and Cooper Beebe when they get guys against them like Micah Parsons coming at you. You got to get the most out of that if you're these rookies. You got to get the most out of DeMarcus Lawrence when he's coming at you. You got to get the most out of that if you're going to be ready in this NFL. So I believe that we're going to be, I won't say fine, but I think we're going to be much better off after getting the dosage of some tank and a lot of Micah in there with these rookies. Any quick thoughts there, baby? I have one last quick little thing I wanted to end it with, and then we're saying goodnight.
Bad Intention said the denial is real. Manage your expectations on this season.
We talked about it
we're
earlier.
Dallas Cowboy fans.
Yeah.
Are our expectations not humbled every year?
Yeah, sorry, Bad Intentions. No denial here. We're speaking the truth. These are the truth. This is how you get this team better. I'm not saying that Tyler Guyton and Cooper Beebe are all-star superstars day one, but they're going to learn quickly. Again, the best duo, according to PFF, Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence. There's no better test for this offensive line of rookies, than the guys we have in this team in training camp for 2 months straight.
Scorpio throwing out there, Parsons is just trying to stay one step ahead of the curve with the boxing and the hand techniques.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's been doing that since last year, and it definitely helps. You can see how much it makes a difference.
Montana 808 throwing out there, Mike and D-Law nowhere near Myles Garrett's strength.
Yeah, they're gonna have to experience day one. No one can replicate that, right?
Seabass kind of said it. But Guyton's best preparation is practicing against Micah and D-Law. That's the best you could ask for.
We have the best. I want to stress this to Choctaw, Montana. We literally just said the best rated. Again, there's different ratings for different people, so we can sit here forever and talk about it. But undoubtedly, there's no question that Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence are some of the best, maybe the best in the NFL right now at edge on the same team. if you look at that, even if they're top 1, 2, or 3 best duo, you still got to say that is a hell of a group to start off against. That is a tough start and a great start to go up against these guys in practice when you're all these rookies, and trying to learn. Well, this is some of the best ways of learning. You're going against some of the best in practice for 2 months, 3 months straight. I'm happy with this. This is the best it could have been outside of, them being ready or even better or whatever it may be. You can't. And there's no way. And by the way, I want to say this. There's no way that the Browns left tackle or right tackle going up against Myles Garrett, they're going to see his power, but they're not going to see the speed and the agility that Micah's going to bring.
Yeah.
So they can't. They have nobody on their team that can do that. I don't care if the offensive linemen for them are rookies or backups. Obviously rookies, and obviously it makes it a little harder, but still, they're going to have trouble with Micah. They have nobody that could replicate Micah over there. Just want to say. Now, the final matchup, it's kind of interesting. You're saying, you see me Dak against Trayvon Diggs. You got, Micah Parsons testing this offensive line. It's more groupage. Just more position specialty. And it involves 2 guys you might have not thought I'm going to put together here versus each other. On offense, I'm going to throw in there a guy that you all know and love. And, hey, listen, can he make the team even? Deuce Vaughn. And I'm going to put him in the slot. Specialty situations, guys. The Cowboys played and tinkered with him in the slot position at wide receiver. So, if you put him in the slot, who's going to cover him in the slot on the defense, on the nickel cornerback? It's going to be Jordan Lewis. So, Jay Lou, who, by the way, if you recall, against the Saints, for example, he was utilized as the specialist to stop Alvin Kamara. And this was back with Marinelli. Mm-hmm. So Jordan Lewis knows how to be the spy toward, to a guy, to, like to say, the best athletic player on the opposition, on the other side. So this is going to be a test for him going up against, in a passing situation, a little Deuce Vaughn who could, has great moves. We all know the good things he has. We know how small he is as well. So this could be one of the most surprising and unexpected matchups in training camp. All right, and it's going to be interesting how this proceeds. Because it might stay for a week, and you'll never see it again. It might stay for the entire training camp, and you might see this all year long. So, Cowboys at minicamp, OTAs, they were testing out Deuce Vaughn at the slot receiver position. If the Cowboys continue this, he will line up against a very small group of corner. We only have a couple of slot-specific cornerbacks, and, Deron Bland is one of them. But Jordan Lewis is going to start in the slot in this situation. So Jordan Lewis and, a very small group of slot corners will go up against Deuce Vaughn in these situations where Deuce Vaughn comes in as a receiver, as that slot receiver in a specialty play call or who knows what, right? So the very shifty running back here turned to a slot receiver for a play or two or for maybe 5 or 6 plays in a game, will have to go up against a very, scrappy and a veteran slot specialist, a slot cornerback. And he's a specialist too. Jordan Lewis is a specialist at the slot cornerback position. So, when you're looking at how is Deuce Vaughn going to contribute in his second year with the Cowboys, is it running back? Is it going to be a kickoff returner, help out there? Because with the new kickoff rules, he might have to be the other kickoff returner if we have 2 kickoff returners back there, along with Kevontae Turpin. So, is he going to be running back? Are we going to see him at kickoff return or slot receiver, which is the newest question mark now? Now, we know he's much smaller than your average slot receiver. He was studying videos of Cole Beasley doing his thing out there with the Cowboys, and how he used his body and ran his routes. So he may be trying to use some of those same techniques as Beasley, incorporating that in his game with his own style and flavor that he already brings to the table. So, again, smaller for any slot receiver should be for his size, of course. His speed, agility, gives him a lot of potential in a spot like the slot receiver position because there's more space. He gets the ball, and now you can make, all he needs is a little bit of room, a little bit of space, and he can make something big happen from there. So, there are a lot of big guys in the middle of the field and defenders that would easily lose track of someone like Deuce Vaughn. If you get the ball to him in the slot, quick pass as a slot receiver, and then he runs into a pack of huge people that you don't know where he is if you're on defense, easy to lose track of. Next thing you know, he is gone. Instead of the running back position where he's kind of corralled already back there, you have him out in the open already. That's the difference between putting him in the slot and putting him at running back. The Cowboys will be trying this in training camp. So, again, there's some potential you can find from Deuce Vaughn in the slot. However, go back to Jordan Lewis for a second. A very savvy veteran. He knows how to get guys that are quick, and he's been assigned guys that are shifty and quick. Even though he is a little older now, right? He has played 7 years going against some of the best slot receivers. He was one of the higher-ranked slot receivers, a top 10 guy pretty much his whole career as a slot receiver, a nickel cornerback. So 2021, though, was his last full season before he got injured, and it was probably his best year. He had 61 tackles, 3 interceptions that year. Last year, before the injury, he started to come back into form. I'm sorry, not before the injury, after the injury. Took some time, but at the end of the year, he started coming back into form. And he had 3 forced fumbles. He also added an interception last year. He is hoping to build on the end of last year into this season. And to me, he's fighting, of course, we know he's a starting slot corner, but nickel cornerback, but he's going to have to, it's going to be an entertaining matchup. It's going to put Jordan Lewis, has to be at his best tackling-wise and vision-wise when he's going to be covering little Deuce Vaughn in the slot. So we're going to be watching this matchup. If the Cowboys continue to put Deuce Vaughn in the slot, Jordan Lewis as a nickel coverage guy is going to be on him. That's going to be an entertaining matchup, to say the least. Any thoughts about that little back and forth between, from you, baby, about Deuce versus Jordan Lewis in the slot?
Well, Seabass said, yes, MCF, I've been rooting for them to do this and utilize these shorter, smaller guys.
Yeah, Beasley-like a little bit, right?
So, especially since we, went so out of our way to get them on this team in the first place, right?
I mean, 6th round pick. You going to waste them?
Now, Chuck Montana, I'm sorry, he cracked me up because he said, slow-ass Lego leg Vaughn ain't doing no damn slot. MCF, I know you said speed.
I did say, no.
Yeah, but he said 4.7 isn't quick nor fast.
Well, that's a good point, too. Speed in small spaces. I guess that's more quickness. But he's got that quickness and agility that can make you fall down, right, if you're trying to tackle him. I think Jordan Lewis is a good test to test this experiment the Cowboys are flirting with, I don't know if they're going to do it. That's why I kind of had it at the end of my list here. But the Cowboys did try this in OTAs and in mandatory minicamp. And I'm just wondering, Cowboys doing this, are they going to continue this in training camp? If they do, it's going to be a test, of course, for Deuce Vaughn. But it's also going to be a test, for Jordan Lewis to make sure he continues on that tackling spree. He's a great tackler. He's going to have to be using that against little Deuce Vaughn here. Make sure you bring him down. It should be easy to bring him down. It's about catching him. And in that position where you got small space, more like a 3-cone drill kind of thing, I mean, you got to get down there and grab him and tackle him and bring him down. So in a short space, it's going to be interesting to see how the Cowboys utilize Deuce Vaughn and how Jordan Lewis attacks him. That's kind of what I'm looking at when it comes to training camp and this discussion.
So, Lego leg. I know that I'm on Seabass. Like I said, when I saw that comment, it cracked me up and definitely caught me off guard there. So, with that said, though, guys, that does bring us to the end of tonight's stream. So I hope you guys had just as good a night and a good time here with us as we had with you. Make sure to take a second, hit like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Follow us anywhere and everywhere at MyCowboysFamily and hop in the Discord as well.
When a Cowboy Quickie turns into 90 minutes, that's what happens. When we get rolling with our discussions, and it's been 3 days, right? So
hey, the way I try to keep my mindset is every day is just one step closer to football being back.
Yep, and it truly starts at training camp. That's when it's going to get going. The blood gets boiling, the passion gets rolling. So
let's get our Lego legs going here and finish the shout-outs in the chat. Before we do, though, extra special shout-out to the sponsor of the week and the Cash App King McLovin, showing the love
the
here.
Man McLovin.
On the MCF side of things. And
the After Dark sessions, of course, right? Let me put him up there, the Man McLovin. Yes, he's there repping it.
You can see up above as well with 75 points. You have the Godless Manitoban.
Yes, he's
representing as a stream boss.
From Canada, repping it. Thank you, sir. And he took it over right before our last stream 3 days ago. And then you also have the overall board right now. I'm not the overall board, but you have the gifting champion, 7 out of 8 weeks. Jet Lee 44. Much love to him. Will he do it again? Again, we have to extend this week again, guys, because we've only had, this is our third stream in 2 weeks. So we're going to do another couple this week since there's no news, and then crown a big-time off-season champion here at the end of next week. All right, so it's not over yet if you're in the mix of this, but right now, starting a new week, or continuing this week, not starting a new week, we got Skeptical Fan in first place trying to break that streak of Jet Li 44. He's got 3. Jet Li has 1 currently. And then you look back at the Cash App leader and the overall leader this week, it's still McLovin, although Skeptical Fan is right behind him. Not far behind at all. I think he's like 15, 14 back. I have to check it, but not far back. McLovin, just a little bit of a lead with only a couple of streams to go before we close it out for I guess say a 3-week montage, I guess we can say, since the Cowboys have done so little here. He's also the overall leader as well. So big shout outs to everybody repping the boards or in the lead right now on the boards. That's it for me, baby. Let's do some shout outs here. Oh, we just got a little trickle through and got us with the 74 because Skeptical Fan dropped another one. A little bit closer now.
$1 holler, a classic.
The overall lead.
Go Cowboys.
Hell yeah. Always repping the spot. Much love to the man staying skeptical. Skeptical Fan. So let's do some shout outs, baby.
Of
as
course.
we roll out of here for the night. A Monday.
Bad intentions. You have a great night. Skeptical Fan, much love, of course. Jet Li 44, always go Cowboys. Choctaw Montana 808, take it easy. The man himself, C. Bass, have a great night as well. Mike Aldana, much love to you. We have, let me see, Taz in the house. Let me keep going here. We have Scorpio, much love to you, of course. Cowboys Champ representing.
Champ in the house.
I'm just trying to go back. Jarrett Jones himself, of course. We got Tom Tom in the house. Stick Aguilera 04, have a great night. John Syme, much love. Brandon Wesley, take it easy. Lost in Translation, have a great night as well.
I know, bad intentions. You might want to write some of that stuff, copy that, and comment. Put it in the comment section. Don't forget. And when this stream ends. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Let me see. Lee Side, way up, dude. That's actually as far back as I can go, at least. Let me come back down. Yeah. So.
I actually want to shout out a couple people here as well.
Of course.
Like Big D. Much love to him back in the membership side of things. You got Mr. Skeptical Fan gifting some memberships, dropping a little love as well. Got Mr. A. Lavelle kicking things off here, breaking it down. And Jet Li 44 also trickling in some coinage. Appreciate you guys. Thank you all. Again, reminder, cannot do this without your guys' love and support on the nightly here on My Cowboys Family. Even if there's a little bit of after dark. It won't be till later, and it probably won't be very long. So, again, keep that in mind. Probably not doing the after dark thing tonight, but hey, that's why you got to subscribe to that channel right down there with the eyes. Find it, search for it, subscribe to it, and hit that notification bell. If you're up late and you have insomnia like myself, definitely a place to be. For some interesting back and forth and discussions, music, and all kinds of stuff that goes down there. But here on the MCF, it's about that star of everything. And baby, I want you to let them know why we do this each and every night right here on My Cowboys Family.
Again, it is that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything.
Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly. Here on this channel, we rep that star over everything. And in about a week, less than a week, we'll be on YouTube here on My Cowboys Family for 7 full years, entering our 8th year, our Aikman 8. 8th year here on YouTube on My Cowboys Family. Never, ever forget the number one thing here now and forever. As always, say it loud and say it proud and say it with us. Go Cowboys! Let's get that 6 and beyond. Thank you all in the chat for dropping your knowledge all night long, all night. And we'll be back again, of course, very soon for more discussion of Cowboy thoughts. Also want to shout out those that dropped the love from above. Again, big shout out to you guys on this Cowboy Quickie. I guess a little longer than a Quickie, but that's what happens sometimes. And of course, watching this on replay, leave a comment down below if you have not already left a comment watching this in the replay. On that note, though, baby, before we can clock out and drop out for the night, relock and reload to continue this 3rd week of shows before we crown some champions. Let everybody know what we got to do here before we drop out for the night.
we gotta drop the beat.
Oh, yeah. That beat's been dropped, and it's a wrap right here, my Cowboys family. Thank you all for rocking it with us. You could be anywhere else. You're here chilling, watching the replay. Don't forget to do those things to help out the channel, but we appreciate you guys listening to us, talking about our Cowboys in the most realistic way we possibly can. Even if the Cowboys don't even have anything to give us, we still find the truth, and we appreciate all of you chilling with us for the news, info, and updates on our Cowboys for another MCF Cowboys chat. Hell yeah, here on the Almost Nightly. We talked about a lot. The quarterbacks, the defense, Zeke, Mozzie, the rookies, the matchups in training camp around the corner. And, of course, what is McCarthy doing? Is he doing a double? Anyways, it looks like he's at a Trump rally here. Look, the point is, McCarthy's got Jones over his shoulder, Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones. And, McCarthy's sounds like he's officially fed up, although I think he's been fed up for a while with the front office like we have. McCarthy, on his contract year, extremely fed up with the front office and the Joneses. Here, even with Jerry and Stephen in charge, it's over everything here at MCF. It's about that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything. Never, ever forget the number one thing here in my Cowboys family. As you guys in the house rocking the spot with us. So don't forget to hit that like button right now for the stream. Hit subscribe for the channel. Keep growing this thing. 38,000 and beyond. Let's keep it going. Thank you guys for subscribing and hitting that notification bell, moving into all videos, commenting below if you watch us on the replay, following us on Discord, jumping in there. You can of course follow us on social media, Twitter, X, at MyCowboysFamily, and all that good stuff, guys. Stay safe. We'll see you soon. Have a good one. Take care. Peace out. And never, ever forget, go Cowboys!